My child, the plans you made so carefully did not survive, and standing here in the wreckage of them, you feel like you have lost the plot of your own life. Maybe you mapped it all out so carefully. The timeline, the shape of the years, the life you were certain you would be living by now. And almost none of it came to pass the way you drew it. So you are standing in the rubble of a future that never arrived, wondering what the point of any of it was. Stay with me here for just a few minutes, because there is something you need to hear tonight. Your plans failing is not the same as your purpose ending. So take a slow breath with me and let the weight of the broken plans come down off your shoulders, just for these few minutes. You do not have to fix anything right now. You only have to listen. Before we go one step further, let me be honest with you, because honesty matters more than comfort that is not true. What you are about to receive is an encouragement drawn from the Bible, a reflection offered in faith. It is not a private revelation. It is not a prediction, and it is not a promise that some specific plan of yours will suddenly work out. It is simply the timeless comfort of Scripture, read gently over you today. I will not tell you what God is going to do next, because I do not know, and neither does anyone who claims to. But I can sit with you in what the Scriptures actually say, and let those words steady you. And there is one verse I want to build everything on tonight. It comes from the book of Proverbs, chapter 19, verse 21. Listen to the words slowly. There are many devices in a man's heart. Nevertheless, the counsel of the Lord, that shall stand. Read it again in your heart. Many are the plans we make. Many are the maps we draw inside our own chests. But there is a purpose that stands when our plans do not. Notice what this verse does not say. It does not say your plans were foolish. It does not say you were wrong to dream them. It simply says that above all our planning, there is a steadier thing, a purpose that holds when everything we built falls down. In the Scriptures, this is the voice of the one who made you, reminding the ones he loves that they were never holding the whole weight alone. So let these words come to you the way the Bible speaks them, as if the Father himself were leaning close to your heart and saying, My child, I saw every plan you made. I saw you sit down and try to draw your life with steady hands. I saw the careful way you arranged the years, the timeline you believed in, the future you were so sure of. You were not foolish to plan. You were not wrong to hope. Planning is one of the most human things you can do, and I do not despise the maps you drew. But hear me gently. A plan that fell apart is not a life that fell apart. The two are not the same, no matter how much it feels like they are tonight. I know what it did to you when the path you mapped out simply did not hold. You did everything you thought you were supposed to do. And still, the road bent away from where you aimed it. And somewhere in that, you started to believe that the collapse of your plan was the collapse of your worth. You began to think that because the life you planned did not happen, you yourself had become a kind of failure. My child, that is the lie, and I want to pull it out by the root tonight. Your plan failing was never the same as you failing. The door closing was never the same as a life ending. You are not the wreckage you are standing in. You are the one I am still holding, in the middle of it. You feel lost, I know. You feel like you have wandered off the page of your own story. The version of you that knew where it was going seems like a stranger now. You keep reaching for the map you used to trust, and your hands keep closing on empty air. But listen to me carefully. Lost is not the same as forgotten. You may have lost the plot you wrote, You have not lost the one who is writing. The scriptures say it plainly, that a man plans his way in his heart, but it is the Lord who directs his steps. Your steps are still being directed, even now, even here, even in the part of the road you never planned to walk. You are not off the map. You have simply walked past the edge of the map you drew onto ground that was always held. You have heard a voice, haven't you? A quiet voice that has grown louder since your plans came apart. It speaks in your own tone, so you assumed it was simply the truth. It tells you that you wasted your time. It says you should have known better. It says everyone else figured out their life and only you ended up here. It reads your collapsed plans back to you at night, one by one, like a list of proof against you. And it whispers the cruelest thing of all, that because your plan died, your purpose died with it. My child, hear me. That voice is a liar. It does not speak for heaven, and it does not speak for the one who made you. So when that old voice begins its familiar speech tonight, answer it with truth. When it says you have wasted your life, the truth says, nothing in my hands is wasted. When it says your purpose is gone, the truth says, my counsel stands. When it says you are lost for good, the truth says, I know exactly where you are. You do not have to win the whole argument with that voice. You only have to stop agreeing with the lie. So if you are listening tonight in the rubble of a plan that did not survive, this is for you. If the life you mapped out simply did not happen, this is for you. If you have been quietly grieving a future that never came while pretending to everyone that you are fine, this is for you. If you have looked at the years and thought, this is not where I was supposed to be, this especially is for you. You do not have to pretend here. You do not have to perform being okay. You do not have to dress up your disappointment to make it acceptable. Come as you are, standing in the wreckage with your hands still empty. In the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 11, the invitation is simple and it is wide open. There, the weary and the heavy laden are called to come, and rest is the thing they are promised. Notice who is invited. Not the ones whose plans worked out. Not the ones with tidy lives. Not the ones who hit every milestone on schedule. The weary, the heavy laden, the ones carrying the weight of a future that did not come. That invitation has your name in it, exactly as you are right now. You do not have to rebuild your whole plan before you are allowed to rest. The scriptures never say, come back once you have your life figured out again. They say, come, and rest will be given. And I want to speak to the grief you have not let yourself feel. When a plan dies, something real is lost, and you are allowed to mourn it. The version of your life that you were so sure of, the one that did not happen, that loss is real, and I do not ask you to pretend it isn't. The scriptures are full of people who grieved the path they expected and never got. But here's what I want you to hold while you grieve. The plan you lost was never the whole of my purpose for you. It was one map. It was one road. It was one shape among many that my counsel could take. And when that one map burned, my purpose did not burn with it. A plan is something you hold in your hands. Purpose is something that holds you. You can lose the first and still be carried by the second. Now, I know you may not feel any of this yet. Trust comes slowly when you have just watched something you believed in fall apart. And that is all right. The truth does not wait on your feelings to become true. The ground holds you up, whether you feel it holding you or not. And this verse was written down long before you were born, so that it could find you on the exact night your plans came undone. So let me say it again, gently, the way you may have needed to hear it. Your plans failing is not your purpose ending. The world taught you to measure your worth by how well your plans turn out, by whether you hit the targets, by whether your life looks like the life you drew. But that is not how heaven measures you. Your value was never tied to the success of your plans. It was tied to the love of the one who made you. And that love does not rise when your plans succeed, and it does not fall when they fail. When your plan worked, you were loved. When your plan collapsed, you are loved still. You did not become less when your future fell apart. You became someone who needs to be reminded that you were never the architect of the whole thing anyway. I want you to think back for just a moment on the plans you made years ago, the ones that fell through long before this one, the doors you were sure would open that closed, the roads you were certain you would walk that ended. And yet here you are. The plans that died did not take you down with them. Do you ever wonder how you are still standing when so much of what you counted on did not last? How you found a different road, even when the one you wanted disappeared? How some quiet good still reached you on a path you would never have chosen for yourself? The scriptures would say that was not chance. That was a counsel that stood when your plans did not. You did not survive your broken plans because you were a good enough planner. You survived because something steadier than your planning was holding the whole thing up, even when you could not see the hands that held it. And here is something the wreckage has been hiding from you. You are not the same person who first drew that plan. You think you have only lost, but you have also been changed in ways that the easy road would never have changed you. The person you were when you made that plan did not know what you know now. The compassion you carry for other people whose lives fell apart, you learned that here, standing where you are standing. The quiet humility that knows you were never fully in control, that was not handed to you, it was forged in the loss of the plan you trusted. Scripture says the testing of your faith works patience, that what passes through fire can be refined and not destroyed. The collapse of your plan was never sent to ruin you. Sometimes a plan has to fall so the purpose underneath it can finally be seen. One day you may sit with someone standing exactly where you stand tonight, in the rubble of their own plans, and the very thing that nearly broke you will be the reason they believe they can keep going. And let me speak gently to the comparison that has been quietly stealing your peace. You have looked at other people whose plans seem to have worked and decided you are the one who failed. Behind the people you grew up with, behind the timeline you set for yourself, behind some schedule that you alone were measuring your life against. But heaven does not run on that clock. You are not behind. You are not a broken version of someone else's working plan. The scriptures are full of people whose plans collapsed before something truer was built. The ones sent on long detours, the ones who waited far longer than they ever meant to, the ones who lost the road they wanted and found a deeper one. The success of your plan was never your worth. So stop measuring your life against a map you were never promised would hold. You are exactly where grace can still reach you, and grace has never once arrived too late to a wrecked plan. So tonight, I am asking you to lay down a few things you were never meant to carry. Lay down the shame of the plan that did not work. Lay down the bitterness toward the years that did not go the way you drew them. Lay down the fear that is using your broken plan to write your whole future in ink it has no right to use. You were not made to carry the weight of every collapsed plan forever, and you do not have to carry it alone. And about the future you keep grieving, the life you planned that did not happen, the version of yourself you were so sure you would become. Hear this carefully, my child. You are not the plan you lost. You are not the sum of the futures that did not arrive. The scriptures promise that His mercies are new every morning. New every single morning. Which means there is fresh mercy already waiting for you tomorrow, on ground you did not plan to stand on. Purpose was never a reward for the people whose plans worked. It has always held the people whose plans fell through. And that includes you. So lay the lost plan down too. Not because it never mattered, but because it no longer has the right to tell you that your purpose is over. If these words have stirred something in you, you do not need to do anything dramatic. You do not owe anyone a comment to make this real. You do not have to prove your faith to a stranger. But if you would like, take this quiet moment and turn it into a small prayer. It can be as simple as this. Lord, my plans fell apart and I feel lost. Help me to trust that your purpose still holds. There are no perfect words. The scriptures show God meeting people in groans and whispers and prayers too broken to finish. Your honesty is enough. And if someone comes to your mind right now, someone standing in the rubble of their own plans tonight, you are welcome to share this message with them. Not as a chain, not as a demand, just as a kindness, the way you would hand a glass of water to someone who is thirsty. Now, here is one gentle but important reminder, and I will not rush past it. Faith is a deep comfort, but it is not a replacement for care. If the collapse of your plans has left you struggling with your health or your mind, or a situation that feels too heavy to carry, please also reach out to a doctor, a counselor, or someone you trust. Hope and help were always meant to walk together. Asking for support is not a failure of faith. It is wisdom, and it is brave. And before we come to the end, let me ask one simple thing of you. Hold on a little longer, even with the broken plans at your feet. I am not telling you that a new plan will suddenly fall into your lap. I am not handing you a date or a guarantee or a tidy ending wrapped with a bow. I am telling you what faith has always whispered to the ones whose plans fell through. That the counsel of the Lord stands, even when our devices do not. You have survived the collapse of plans before, and you are still here. Think about that. That is not luck. That is a purpose that held you on the very days your plans let you down. And the purpose that carried you this far is not about to set you down now. So when the new road is unclear, hold on. When you cannot yet see what comes after the loss, hold on. When you cannot see the whole staircase, just take the one step in front of you and hold on. So as this message comes toward its close, I want to leave one thing in your hands to carry into tomorrow. Your purpose is not finished, even though your plan is. Hear that verse one more time. From the book of Proverbs, chapter 19, verse 21. There are many devices in a man's heart. Nevertheless, the counsel of the Lord, that shall stand. Whatever the wreckage of your plans has taken from you, the final word over your life is not your failed map. Above the many plans of your heart, there is a counsel that still stands. I will not promise you that a particular plan will work. I will not promise you a date or an outcome or anything that only God knows. You have been handed enough empty promises, and I will not add to the pile. But I can leave you with what the scriptures say with full confidence. Many are your plans, but His counsel stands. Your plans may fail, but His purpose for you is not undone. So lift your head tonight, not because a new plan has suddenly appeared, but because the purpose under your life was never the one you were holding alone. Take one more slow breath now, and let this be the truth you fall asleep on. Your plans may have failed, but His purpose stands. You are not lost. You are held. If messages of hope like this one bring you peace, you are always welcome to stay close to this little corner of the internet, where we simply sit with the scriptures together. And wherever tomorrow takes you, whatever wreckage you are walking out of, may you walk knowing that the one who made you holds a purpose that does not fall when your plans do. Peace be with you, my friend. Rest now.